An unidentified terrorist was killed in a nighttime encounter in the village of Kulgam in the South Kashmir region. Officials reported that the terrorist was killed in a gunfight whose identity is being probed as of now. The arms and ammunition were also recovered from the killed terrorists. US State Department has called on Pakistan to take steps to permanently disband all terror groups, including Lashkar-e-Toiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed and their various front organizations. This comes after Pakistan summoned US Deputy Ambassador over India and the US calling out Islamabad over its support to terrorism in the joint statement issued last week. The statement from the United States and India was released after a meeting between US President Joe Biden and the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the White House on Friday. After a weekend of chaos and confusion in Russia, the Russian President Vladimir Putin addressed the nation for the second time. Putin paid tribute to the pilots who were killed during the failed weekend mutiny. Putin said that from the very beginning of the events, steps were taken on his direct instructions to avoid serious bloodshed. He further accused Ukraine and its Western allies of wanting Russians to kill each other during the revolt. Meanwhile, the Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in an interview also has stated that the Russian intelligence services are probing whether Western spy agencies played a role in the aborted mutiny. After publicly lending support to Prigozhin's operation to capture Moscow, Russia's Storm Z unit has now accused the Wagner chief of running away after striking a deal with Vladimir Putin. Storm Z is a series of penal military units established by Russia in April 2023. They comprise of Russian convict fighters who have been given an option of deduction in sentence after Prigozhin announced a mutiny marching on to Moscow. Some of the fighters from this unit released a video pledging support. Moments later, when Prigozhin announced a retreat after a deal brokered with the Belarusian president, the Russian convict fighters were called out for open rebellion. Wagner chief Yevgeny Prigozhin has for the first time released an audio statement since aborting an armed rebellion. He says that he wasn't aiming to oust the Russian authority or the Russian president, but acted to protect his group from disbanding, defending the move as a reaction to an attack on his force that killed some of his fighters. In the 11-minute audio release, Prigozhin said that he started the march because of an injustice, stating that his march on Moscow showed very serious security problems. He recalled how Russian towns greeted his men by waving Russian flags and Wagner symbols, while Belarus president offered ways for Wagner to continue operating legally. China's spy balloon program is back in the news, with reports now claiming that such balloons have previously been spotted over Asia as well. This is according to BBC Panorama. The British media reported new evidence of China's spy balloon program, including flights over Japan and Taiwan, months after the US-China relations were derailed when one such airship was shot down off the US coast. The BBC has found multiple images of balloons crossing East Asia. The company's founder said that he found evidence of one balloon crossing northern Japan in early September 2021. He also believes that the evidence points to the balloon having been launched from deep inside China. The leader of UK's Labour Party, Keir Starmer, opened the 5th annual India Global Forum UK-India Week 2023 in London. During Starmer's opening remarks, his message was clearly tailored to strengthen the Labour Party's ties with India and the Indian diaspora. Starmer's interaction is seen as a hugely significant speech as he outlines the Labour Party's engagement with India. It is seen as Labour Party's outreach to India. The Labour Party seeks to engage with the world's largest democracy and fastest growing economy. Honduran military began taking control of the country's violent prisons on Monday. The move was brought in following last week's gang-related massacre of 46 female inmates. This is the worst atrocity at a women's prison in recent memory. Last week, President Xiomara Castro announced that she would hand the military police control of the prison system. She said her administration seeks to stop organized crime activity inside the prisons. A newly released official videos showed hundreds of shirtless male inmates, many tattooed with their heads shaved, arranged on the floor of the prison. "23-year-old Anderson Lee Aldrich, who shot 5 people dead in a Colorado gay nightclub, has been sentenced to life in prison. The accused pleaded guilty to 5 first-degree murder counts and 46 attempted murder counts. In late 2022, Aldrich, wearing body armor, opened fire at Club Q, an LGBTQ+ nightclub. Apart from those killed, nearly 24 others were wounded by gunfire or otherwise injured. Aldrich, then 22, was charged with 323 criminal counts. Myanmar took a public approach to show enmity towards narcotics. About $180 million worth of illicit narcotics seized in raids was set ablaze. In a ceremony-like event in Yangon, Myanmar, to mark World Drug Day, the destroyed drugs were seized across the country till May this year. However, the specification of the locations or the list of drugs were not made public. The piles of narcotics were laid out for burning at the ceremony marking International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, and the exhibition made public to spread awareness. Nearly about 2 million Muslims pilgrims officially began the annual Hajj pilgrimage on Monday. The pilgrims made their way out of Mecca after circling Islam's holiest site, the Kaaba. They then converged on a vast tent camp in the nearby desert for a day and night of prayer. The authorities said that more than 1.6 million pilgrims had already arrived for the pilgrimage as of Sunday. One of the largest religious gatherings in the world returned to full capacity for the first time since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic 3 years ago. Colombian President Gustav Klimts on Monday gave 86 medals to indigenous and military rescuers. The rescuers worked to find 4 children who survived a plane crash in the country's Amazon. The children, aged between 1 to 13, survived the crash that killed their mother and 2 other adults on board. The indigenous children's knowledge of the jungle and their courage have been lauded by the officials. A military rescue dog, Wilson, went missing himself during the operation and was one of the recipients of the award. New Zealand's economy is currently in a recession, but things may get worse before they get better. The Bank of New Zealand forecasts that the Kiwi economy will emerge from recession in the current quarter, but hints that it may slip into another recession at the end of the year and stretch into early 2024. The bank cites high interest rates dampening consumer spending that will eventually hit the economy again. Experts have downgraded China's economic growth for the second half of 2023, but Chinese Premier Li Qiang is optimistic about China's pandemic recovery. He said that China's economic growth in the second quarter would be higher than the first and was projected to reach the annual economic growth target of around 5%. His optimism is contrarian to experts' forecasts that paint a grim picture for the Chinese economy as industrial output and retail sales continue to disappoint. WhatsApp is now working on a new feature that will allow users to pin messages within chats for a fixed duration. It will be much easier to highlight a conversation for future reference. The message pin duration feature will allow users to select the duration of the pinned message. Reportedly, the duration option may vary from 24 hours to 7 days and to even 30 days. With this new feature, the users would not have to scroll all the way up, skipping chats of days and weeks to find an important message. This feature is sure to offer greater flexibility and control to users over their pinned messages. Google's parent company Alphabet has started to deliver internet service using laser technology. The idea was to expand internet access to remote areas. The project, known as Tara, was started by Alphabet's innovation lab called X in 2016. Alphabet is moving towards large-scale deployment of laser technology in countries like Australia, Kenya, India and Fiji. The internet machine, called the terminal, is approximately the size of a traffic light. It is essentially like the fiber optic internet but without the cables. One terminal transmits a beam of light from one building to another. New York City will add the festival of Diwali to the list of public school holidays. The move comes in recognition of the growth of the city's South Asian and Indo-Caribbean communities. Diwali, known as the Festival of Light, is celebrated in October or November, depending on the lunar calendar. However, this year it falls on the 12th of November, which is a Sunday, meaning that the 2023 and 2024 school calendar will not be affected by the change. City officials said that more than 200,000 New York City residents celebrate Diwali, which is observed by Hindus, Sikhs, Jains and some Buddhists. The Bet Awards are celebrating 50 years of hip-hop, with the anniversary being held on August 11th this year. Hip-hop went from a grassroots movement to become a major business over the years. It mingled with art, fashion and more. It has also spread to numerous other countries. The nominees in the Bet International Act hail from as far as South Africa, Ghana and the UK. A late-life masterpiece by Austrian artist Gustav Klimts could become the most expensive painting ever sold in Europe. It is due to be auctioned later this month. The auctioneer Sotheby's said that Dame Mit Fasher, a lady with a fan, will go under the hammer on 27th June in London. The painting has an estimated price of $80 million. Tornadoes and thunderstorms hit the U.S. Midwest and South as of Monday morning. About 500,000 utility customers faced power outages due to the weather in the U.S. Midwest and South. As per the authorities, the storm left dozens of homes damaged and at least 3 people dead in Indiana and Arkansas. The emergency officials from Martin County, Indiana, confirmed that 1 death in the area. On the other hand, Longhorn County Sheriff's Office confirmed that 2 people were killed after a tree fell in a home in Arkansas due to severe storms on Sunday. The snow-capped peaks of Shanta Valley in Pakistan, occupied Kashmir, are showing signs of melting, referred to as the heaven on earth. The valley's peaks are falling prey to climate change. According to the United Nations Development Programme, its glaciers are not just worsening floods but are also forming lakes. This has posed risk at 7 million people downstream. Rising temperatures, frequent rainfall, hailstorms, cloudbursts and unusual snowfall patterns are the listed causes. Apart from the polar regions, Pakistan counts over 7,000 glaciers. This number is way more than anywhere else in the world.